All right, my name is Ed Easley. I played at Bruce High School from 53 through 56. During that time, Coach Gray was our basketball coach, except for the 53-54 season when Paul Kitchens was our coach. But we got all of our Ellard boys and our Bruce boys together on the telephone, decided we'd do a short documentary on the life of our coach, Coach Gray, Billy Bob Gray. Some of the boys called him Billy Bob. I never did have nerve enough to do that. But I was better known then as Slim Easley. That sort of changed over the years. But we're meeting here today to interview the players that he coached, both men and women, and want to document some of the highlights. And we'll mention now that he coached 5 years at Ellard, 5 years at Bruce, later on became superintendent of education in Calhoun County, and then moved on to Northwest Community College to finish out his teaching career, where he was very successful there and still resides. And it would be mentioned many times during this documentary about the role that he played in forming our lives. And just to make a short statement on that, one of the finest men that I've ever met. During this documentary, I want to mention the fact that Johnny McPhail is filming and is our main interviewer for this, and I want to thank him for doing that for us, and for the Vera Cruz restaurant for allowing us to do the documentary in the restaurant here in Bruce.
I'm Pam Gray Darnell. I am Billy Bob's youngest daughter. I live in Senatobia, Mississippi.
I'm Bob Gray, Billy Bob's oldest and only son.
And as I was in here, and this has happened to me before when I've been with Daddy and gone places here in Calhoun County, and I meet people and they tell me their names. They're very familiar because I've heard them all my life. Different names, and I couldn't tell you all the names now, but when I hear them, I remember Daddy talking about them. And they're always good and pleasant memories, and he enjoys talking about it all, even today. He remembers a lot about every game y'all played and where you were and all that.
Just like Pam was talking about, these days his memory is not that great, and he really is not too much into what's going on day to day. But you mentioned, as Pam said, some of the names of folks, of basketball players and all, and he can start talking and remember in very vivid detail about what's going on. So I guess that's just something about the brain that's embedded there. But he has fond memories of his time at Ellard and at Bruce and coaching. I think he was just born to be a coach.
Yeah, I mentioned to Pam, I remember your mom was one of my teachers at Ellard. And I think Billy Bob may have come back out there and taught one year. I'm not sure. Somewhere, but when he wasn't coaching. But I remember your mom being one of my teachers out there. Really thought a lot of all the Stewarts, Billy Jack and Mally and all them. We would always go home with. I'd always go home with Billy Jack after church, and we'd play, or he'd come home with me on Sundays. But the Stewarts always meant a lot to me. Anyway.
Well, you know, I heard someone say that Daddy never talked about the referees or anything like that. And when I was in high school in Senatobia, he was not coaching then. And he would coach me, though, of course, when I was out there. And his thing was he didn't yell at the referees, he yelled my number. He'd say number 35, and he would yell whatever, and it was always to hustle. It wasn't to do something better, it was just hustle. But he also didn't say anything about anybody else in front of me. As a child, I can't remember his ever saying anything bad about somebody else. If he and Mother had something to talk about that was important, it was not done in front of us. It was always done just those two. I never knew anything in the world happened bad to our family. I never knew anything about it.
So you played basketball
Yes, I did.
when he was in San Antonio, when he was
Right.
teaching up there?
Mhm. And
Yeah, well, how good were you?
I was good for the area. But you got outside of that area. Had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, did Daddy ever give you any coaching at home?
Yes, he used to take me to the gym, just
Oh, wow.
me and him. It didn't, yeah, he would. And, you know, I grew up watching Bobby and Ruby, my sister, play, so I was expected to play, but it was fun.
Yeah, Bobby, did you play?
I played at Bruce and also played at Northwest. So, and wasn't quite big enough to play any further than that. You know, you got to be 6'9" and play guard these days. So, didn't and wasn't good enough. But I enjoyed playing. It was one of the things that it was fun, and always, you know, it was just something that you did. It was sort of like, I never thought about going to college because it was never anything that, well, we didn't have that option or didn't know that it wasn't an option.
That's so true. You know, you
didn't
were
think
going
about
to
it.
college.
Yeah, you were going. You were going. You never thought about it. You weren't pressured to go, but the expectation was there, and that was just what was expected. So you didn't really even think about it. I think of him many times when I think about the way he managed his life and the people around him, in that he never told you what to do, but you knew somehow that's what he wanted you to do.
Yeah,
Set a good example.
he did.
Definitely.
Now, Mother was the one who was the disciplinarian as far as putting something you wouldn't forget.
Well, I can't imagine
But-
her being much of a disciplinarian. I tell
Oh,
you, I love your mother, boy.
Well, she could be at times. From time, I was a pretty bad kid and got into trouble an awful lot. And I guess one of the times I got in trouble more than anything else, I can't remember what was going on, but she was mad at me, and she got that Stuart temper out, and she just took a swing at me, and I ducked, and we were in a hall, and she hit her hand against the wall and broke her finger. So, and I definitely got in trouble that time. So, I know what it was. My sister's canary got out and went up in the attic fan, and I laughed about it. That was what I got in trouble about.
Yeah, well, maybe you should have.
I should have laughed.
I don't know, but anyway, she, I never heard her in I forget the class I had with her, but I never heard her getting on anybody. It was just always fun and joking and just real pleasant. And of course, a lot of them at Ellard were big disciplinarians at the time. They don't pal you for nothing, you know, or whatever, but she never was into that, and I doubt if Billy Bob ever paddled anybody. I doubt it, but I couldn't imagine him
You
doing
just knew.
Well, that was the same with me. I don't ever remember him laying a hand on me,
He never-
but he didn't have to.
No.
It was something about the way he approached it that, well, you knew you did something wrong and you better straighten up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anything else y'all want to add, or?
Only thing I do is just that, you know, he enjoyed coaching everybody he coached, and it was something he really loved. And I think that's why he was good at it.
Yeah, I think that's what I've always heard. He would take people that couldn't hardly hold the ball and make them, by the end of the year, he'd have them playing. So anyway, I know y'all mighty proud, and you're lucky to have a daddy like that. A lot of kids don't nowadays. But thank y'all very much.
Hey, just a minute, hold on just a minute. Would you take one more second here? What did Coach Gray teach in high school?
Well, I had algebra under him, and I had trig under him. Now, I don't know what else he taught. I know when I was a senior, I had typing under Mother,
Yes.
and I had algebra and trig. Trig when I was a senior. I think I took algebra in the 10th grade under him. But that's what he taught.
And
So,
what did he teach at Centonia?
he taught an algebra, and he taught a physics class.
Physics. It's something with a slide rule.
Yeah, at the time, it didn't have the calculators and all, and he taught slide rule to the draftsmen. So that was their calculators, so he taught slide rule.
Now, Mother taught me at Northwest. When she was at Northwest, she taught typing and shorthand and office machines, things like that. And
Yeah,
that's
Billy
what
Bob.
I used to teach.
I don't know what year, if I have to calculate it out, but that's what he taught me, Billy Bob did. I think I was in like the 6th grade, and I was pretty good in math, and he impressed me so much. And little things you can do for a kid that change his life, he would let me get up there and basically kind of teach the class, you know. Johnny knows how to do that. Oh, man.
Now, his other daughter, Ruby, is a math teacher, and
Yeah.
she has Daddy's math brain. Now, we didn't do
No,
that.
we didn't. Actually, with the math, I always thought it was a waste of time. And then after the computers and all came out, I did a little programming, and I finally figured out something I could use the math for. So, I wrote formulas in spreadsheets and that kind of stuff. So I actually used some of the math, but before that, I thought, this is just sort of something I've got to do to get by. So, and I was never very good at it, so that was probably
I was
best.
pretty good in math, but I've never, for the life of me, I've never figured out how you use algebra in real life.
Now, when Mother taught at Northwest, when she passed away, I took her position at Northwest, so that's where I taught the rest of my
Wow,
time. So,
okay. Anything else, Ed?
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
I'm Jimmy Stewart, Billy Bob's brother-in-law. He married my oldest sister back, I can't remember when.
47.
I remember when they were going to Holmes Junior College, and would come back and help us on the farm. Back it up just a little bit further, before Billy Bob and Marie married. Billy Bob come down to see Marie one Sunday, and all of us were going to church except my grandfather. And just as Billy Bob walked in, Papa got mad at an old cat we had in there, and he kicked the cat out the front screen door and like scared Billy Bob to death. But I remember them coming in from Home Junior College and having us farm and pick cotton and all like that. And then the first year that Billy Bob taught school, I think he made a whole lot of money that year, the sum total of $1,200. And then he taught me in school, both of them taught me in school at Ellard. And then when he was elected superintendent of education, he hired me to be his bookkeeper all the time that he was over there. And so it's been some fond memories all the time that we spent together and worked together. And
Yeah, I remember, of course, I was real close friends with Billy Jack. One of us would go home after church with the other, but I remember, I don't know, hearing a lot about you and Brooks and Clem and Ray and getting into stuff out there. I don't know if that's so or not.
probably a lot of it shouldn't be told.
Anyway, go ahead.
Well, my name is Charlotte Baker Stewart, and the first time I ever met Billy Bob, it was kind of a strange situation. I went with him and his girlfriend out to Ellard to a ball game, and Jim tried to get me to go with your brother, Brooks Collins, and Brooks, I'm sorry. And I told him
That would have
no.
been a mistake.
I told him no, I wasn't interested in dating anybody. The next thing I know, he brings Billy Jack to see me. And anyway, he went to Marie one time. I was in her class, in Billy Bob's class at school. I had algebra and shorthand and bookkeeping under Marie, and algebra under Billy Bob. And he went to Marie and asked her about me and whether he ought to come see me or not. So that's how we got together. And we got married, moved to New Albany, and have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. And it's been a blessing being in the family. We love them all. And we've been married 54 years. So it's been a lot of fun memories.
They kind of rushing me up out here, and if y'all ain't got anything else to add, it's been a pleasure.
Okay, I'm Jamie Gray, Bob's brother, younger brother. I never did play basketball for him. He was, I saw him play a lot during their 40s, in the middle 40s. I graduated in 1948 from Ellard, and he came that fall as teacher and coach at Ellard that time. In that he and Marie were, when I was in school, they high school mainly, they were at school at Holmes Junior College, and he came up to Ellard with straight out of junior college. He started teaching with a 2-year certificate out of junior college, and he and his dad-in-law Arvin Stewart farmed during the summer while he was there. Jim and them might remember it here that he and Marie helped her daddy farm during that time. So I never did really all his coaching. Mainly his coaching at Ellard. I was in service and wasn't at home at the time, gone. I spent 4 years in service, and that was during his tenure there at Ellard primarily. I saw a time or two when at home or just afterwards, a game or two that they played, and the boys was playing in that. But the things I have on Bob primarily is after we both got out of college, and I started coaching, and I never did coach against him or anything, but we had a lot in common when we was coaching there and over different things. I was nowhere around in the county here at the time. I coached in other areas and all, but during Johnny, I want to mention that during my playing years, especially the last one, it's been mentioned here that we played a tournament at Oxford. In that tournament, where your brother Bobby was a 9th grader at the time, played on a team. It was myself and Bobby, Brooks Collins, Leon Bailey, and Lee Arthur Newman were the boys that played, and we were all seniors, and Bobby was a 9th grader, so that was the only one. He was in that, and we got beat 12 points up there in the playoff. We got kicked out of going to the state. Pine Grove, I was mentioned. Pine Grove, we played them another time. So we got beat out there, and that was the game that Bob. Someone mentioned a while ago Bob being at the tournament at the time up there. We played in the university at Ole Miss there out on the campus and playing that. So my thing with Bob, of course, was going up, and most of the time after I got up in age a little bit, Bob had left home. He left home and went to World War I there. I mean World War II, surely not World War I, but World War II. And I was just coming up, and well, it started. I think I don't remember, but either the year he graduated, I started Ellard the next year. I think it's from Parker Salem. Went to school down there. Well, I had the privilege of going down there 5 years, but he was working. After he got out of school, he went to work in Connecticut in the shipyards, and then after that he went to into service and was in service all the time and through my high school years until the latter part of it. He come back and then was gone and married and went to school. Was going to school then. So really, my time with him at home was up until he was about 16 or 17 years old, and up until that time. From that time on up, he was gone, and then I'd gone and then went into service myself. So our dealings were primarily after we both become adults, and I was coaching and he was coaching and teaching, and we had that, and we had a lot of good times in those.